Welcome to episode. God damn it! Welcome to episode 110 of the Reptile Gumbo podcast. You know,
this is gonna be great.
You bring folks on
Great.
to fill in, and they could have done all the noisy shit for the last 20 minutes before we start. I go to hit record, and someone's got to pick up their noisy ass drink full of ice right next to the microphone.
That was great.
They didn't give me a straw.
That was great.
Jesus.
I can
Anyways,
text my kid and have her bring you a straw
Oh.
from downstairs.
It's good. I'll just do this.
Welcome to the show. So tonight, I'm the constant
We're
on
gonna
the show.
mess with you so
We're
much.
starting
tonight.
off
It's
with
gonna
a
be
bang.
great.
So we're back. We weren't here last week because last week we released our 2 episodes from the College Bryant Station Herp Show, which, by the way, if you haven't listened to those, you really need to go listen to the episode with Blake on it. Just saying, Blake's story is
Oh Lord.
it's interesting. Like I said before, don't play with kids around.
Yeah, please don't.
Don't do that. But Robert couldn't be here this week. Poor planning on Robert's part.
It
So-
happens. It happens.
But we got a fill-in. We got
Lucky
Megan,
you.
yay.
Lucky for you.
soybeans and bits.
I know. What? I missed that. That must have been on the episode. I was.
No, whatever her
No,
last
we're
name.
just apparently we're coming
we're
up
just
with more
calling
creative ways
everything
to
with
say
her
my
last
last
name.
name. Yeah. So
Oh.
Slap and
Lord.
tickle titch. What?
No, Jane.
It's close. It's very close. It's in the neighborhood.
Oh, my stars.
he's not wrong.
Oh,
Shit's going on a shirt.
so Megan's filling in for Robert. Katie's finally here.
Yay! I'm better.
It's been a while.
I was bad sick that night. Like I was asleep by 8 o'clock that night
Yep.
that y'all recorded.
Megan filled in for that time.
Yeah, she
and
did.
then we had the week of the recording. So we're back.
Yep.
Anyways, so let's get into this. Sponsors. Katie?
Yeah, real quick. If you're looking for a high quality PVC rack, look no further than Lone Star Reptile Racks. They offer a variety of sizes for all types of snakes, geckos, rats, and more. You can even order something custom. Shipping is available, or you can pick up at a Herps Reptile show near you. Visit lsreptileracks.com to reach out to Lone Star Reptile Racks and place your order today.
I had to look. I just wanted to make sure I didn't forget sponsors
Oh.
on the board behind us. Herps. We just mentioned Herps Reptile shows. Let me go ahead and pull up the schedule for Herps Reptile shows, which I should have had pulled up ahead of time.
I
But
say April, it's every single weekend.
it is every single weekend. So we've got coming up.
Hold on, I think I can do
All right, let's try this. April
all right,
2nd
April
and 3rd.
2nd and 3rd is Slidell,
April 9th and 10th.
Beaumont.
Unless you're Chris Eaton, it's Beaumont, Texas. April 16th and 17th.
Temple, which is Easter weekend.
That is
There
Temple.
will be vendors will have like treats and Easter eggs, and the Easter bunny will be making an appearance. and
Great way
it's
to
gonna be
explain
great.
that one, Katie.
Sorry.
April.
All I could think of was Andy Hines' post. I already bought my 1,000 eggs. Who's next? So, anyways,
April 23rd and 24th.
is Austin
Austin, which we'll talk about in a second.
also in Texas?
June 4th and 5th.
No,
Oh.
that is Lafayette.
Lafayette.
I need to talk to you about that show.
Are we going to it?
Well, I am. So we need to talk about it.
Wait a minute. Wait. What's an I am, but we're
Well,
not?
I don't know if you are, because that's also the Venom conference weekend. So I'm going to go because Lori needs me to work because she won't be there.
That's right.
We'll talk later. And
Okay.
then the weekend after that is
June-
my birthday.
June 11th and 12th?
in Conroe.
Which is funny because my birthday weekend was Conroe.
And
The last Conroe.
I got nothing after that. That's all I got.
And then
I know Longview's at the
Longview,
end.
Slidell,
somewhere.
and we'll get to those later. But yeah,
I got them right, didn't I?
You did.
Yeah.
Looking forward to Beaumont. It's only like an hour away from the house.
Yep. And the hotel's booked.
Sweet. And then also check out our buddies over in Alabama, over in Ozark. You can check out Wiregrass Exotics, the Ruas. If you need feeders or anything, looking for a new reptile, go check them out in Ozark. They are there on 230. Why am I? Oh, I just blank on what the highway is. 235.
231.
231. Jesus Christ.
Sad day.
It's been way too long since I've been.
It is. Sounds like we
It's
need
the
a
main
road
highway.
trip.
It's the only highway through Ozark. Don't blink.
Road
You'll miss
trip.
Ozark. But go check out the Ruas. What?
I just had a plan for a road trip. We'll talk later. I need to write this down.
Don't write in my notebook.
I'm writing
That's my
in my
notebook. That's my notebook with important
Sounds
stuff.
like you have a busy agenda coming up.
Apparently. Road trips use gas, and I don't know if we can afford to go anywhere.
I know.
Okay. Might as well say we're going to just travel on unicorn tears.
I laugh, but he's not wrong.
I know.
See?
It cost almost the same money to fill up my SUV and his truck the other day, and that was just unacceptable for me.
Oh yeah, I wanted to cry when we filled up our Genesis. It takes premium gas.
Fuck no.
It was it was fine.
It's time to drive that thing off a cliff and say it got stolen.
yeah, well, that's why I've been driving the Altima, because it doesn't take premium gas.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize there was a premium gas left on gas, but I've never looked at that button.
I have PVC enclosures to pay for.
I know a guy that makes those.
Oh my God, me too.
It's crazy.
Maybe it's the same guy.
That's true. Our book giveaway. We've got a day left? A day left.
Yeah.
So we got to get our books together. We got a whole bunch of books.
I'd say we actually got more and added to the stack. So you're getting a larger prize than we anticipated.
Yeah. Thanks to our local half price books, which is what we keep emptying out all the reptile books at our half price books.
I know.
We haven't been in a while. It's okay.
Oh no, our guest disappeared. Oh, he'll be back.
He'll be back.
Have you gone and not found any books and been upset?
I never find any books. And then I found out that it's because of you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes, yeah. I've got one somewhere around here. It's like racers, it's a paper from like 1920 something, but in book form of like about racers and black racers or something. It was there. Like, yeah, I'll buy that.
It's probably in that bag over there on the floor.
Probably. I'm never gonna.
You know
read it,
what? I think we just call the giveaway and just give it all to me.
Nope.
It's fine.
Have you even entered? But you haven't even entered.
Yes, I have.
Oh, okay. I actually got to look at all his names and get that together.
Wow, you didn't even read my contribution. That's rude.
But yeah, so that is our giveaway. We're going to be doing that. So if you're listening now, go do that. You got to go to our Facebook and tell us your favorite reptile book. And if you leave us a link to that book, like on Amazon, you can get 2 entries and we'll pick a winner. And then next month, we'll have it posted next month. We are giving away a free mandala from our friends over at Crafty Gargoyle. I don't know which one we're giving away yet because they have you do because they have a million awesome ones. So I'll talk to them. We'll figure it out. But they've got some really cool ones. If you haven't checked out Crafty Gargoyle, go check them out on Facebook. Their mandalas are amazing. Joe's in the chat now. So let's go ahead and bring in our guest. Our guest who we have not talked to in forever. So bring him in here. There it is, Joe Phelan.
Yo, I was rotting in backstage, man.
I know.
He's horrible about that.
Jeez, in the green room.
So sorry. We didn't even have any M&Ms back there or nothing.
I did like the callback of the joke that we had before the show.
Yeah. What do you make?
Meaning we all hysterically laughed, but no one actually got it.
No one got it. It's fine. Inside jokes are basically this entire show.
As soon as I explain it, everyone's going to use it when they talk to James, and it's going to be great.
Anyways.
So use that wisely.
So anyways, let's see who's in the chat, actually. Look, it's one of our favorite human beings on earth, Katie. It's Natasha Ray White.
Oh.
I'm now doing that from now on, Natasha. You are Natasha Ray White because her maiden name is Raymond.
Yeah.
Right? And so we got Douglas Ray White.
Oh, we talked about this.
Natasha Ray White. Now. And if you don't do it with that voice, it's not right. So that's another one. If you haven't listened to our latest release from the Bryan College, we got to talk to Natasha and Doug, 2 of the best people on earth. And I'm now going to force Natasha and Doug to sit down at every show and share stories on the podcast.
They're fabulous people.
Because Doug cracks me up. Anyways, Joe, how's it been?
Yeah, doing good.
There's been a ton of changes since the last time we have talked.
Yeah. So
we live in Texas now.
Where do we start? Yeah.
I say we both live in Texas now.
We all live in Texas
now. We all live in Texas now.
Which is the only place to live if you want to own reptiles.
Although I'm not going to lie, I'm really hoping that the rain that comes through tomorrow knocks a lot of this oak pollen out.
It's supposed to rain tomorrow.
Yeah, tornado
all day.
Son of a
I mean,
last Tuesday.
Today has been just threatening to rain all day here. And the wind you would think it would just rain.
Oh, it's been crazy today. Although I guess that makes sense. It's been humid and windy today. So yeah that makes sense.
Yeah, the rain is supposed to start right after car rider drop off tomorrow.
I know, but it's a different kind of humid when it's about to rain.
It is.
Yeah, you guys live in the armpit region.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
we live in the sweaty armpit of Texas.
It's more of the crotchular region of Texas.
Really?
Crotchular. That's what I'm going to go with. Crotchular.
Is that a word? That's not a word.
It's a word now. You know how I know it's a word? I just said it.
It's not a word.
Really? I just said it. It's now a word. Have you heard what other words kids come up with nowadays? I'm going with this one.
Very true.
If Katie, if you and Robert need me to replace James
again, no one knows how to use the equipment.
We don't know how to use.
You know what? I did tech in high school. I can figure it out.
I can figure this out.
Don't you touch my soundboard?
I mean, it's been a long time since
I love my
been in
soundboard.
High school, but
again,
I can figure it out.
Thanks to the Ruas. The Ruas for the soundboard. I'll press a button later with some sort of sound for them. I need to pull that up so I know. I don't even actually know what sounds are back on here.
Oh my
Wait for it.
Make sure that volume is down
Wait
before
for
you
it to
press
turn
that
all
button.
the way up.
So help me God.
I don't know what. I'm just gonna press a random one.
Oh, God.
That's gonna be stuck in my head for the
I'm
rest of the
having like
night.
nightmarish flashbacks.
I'm such an asshole.
What?
I love that you're dancing. Joe is like,
Okay.
this
Can
was a bad
we-
decision.
Can we have like the burr, 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 burr? Can we have the
wait.
air
Oh, he
horn
has
one?
that one.
I
It's
just
on
gotta
there.
find it. I got way too many sounds on here,
Oh God.
and
That's because he went crazy.
I did when I
downloading
first got it. I was like,
everything
look
when
at all
he
this.
first got it.
Wait for it.
Yeah.
All right, you two.
You know what?
Do you have a list, James? Is it in your notebook?
For what?
You had like a list of stuff that you wanted to talk
It's
about.
in a text I sent, but look, this is for Katie's jokes.
I might have to decline the next time I'm asked to fill in.
Oh,
Now you're.
that's
This
for
is your third time on here, so now you're seeing his true.
I'm
colors.
just thinking of all the productive things I could be doing at home right now.
Yep. This is me on a weekly basis.
I'm at my home. And I don't want to do the things I can do at home right now.
because I took a nap.
Oh, we'll get to those things in a second. Let's find out about Joe. So, Joe, what's been going on, man? You disappeared.
That's really hard to
in
answer. 'Cause
Austin.
I don't even know where to start. Yeah. Boston, Texas. Here we are. Yeah. Austin,
Yeah.
Massachusetts. It's all right. Yeah. So I moved for work probably beginning of November and slimmed down the collection a lot. Right now I have some crested geckos, some Leachianus geckos, a Rhino
Ooh, look at you all
Iguana.
fancy with your Leachianus geckos.
Yeah, one lychee. I should take that back.
Yeah,
It's not
okay, so-
plural. And a corn snake, a Texas rat snake, and that's really it. Well, Jewel Lacerda too, a melanistic one.
You feel like the person that just like randomly walked up to that table at a show that has all the random stuff and goes, "Yeah, I want these." And now
You don't understand that. I guess those people have probably gone through similar processes of owning a bunch of stuff, and it has kind of ended up like that. But
I relate
there's
to that.
nothing in which I don't anymore go very deep on one species. I just go very deep on one individual animal. It's a lot easier that way, actually.
What I wish we could normalize and make acceptable in our hobby is for people
not wearing pants in public.
No.
Oh.
For people to get something because they have fallen in love with it, they have done research on it, and they're like, yes,
I would love for people to do research
I
on
want
stuff.
this. But then make it 100% acceptable if in like 2 years you're like, this just doesn't do it for me anymore, and you get rid of it. Because I feel like there is a stigma where people judge you when you get rid of things just to get rid of them after you've had them for like a couple years. And I don't feel like that's necessary. Like, yes, I understand what type of a lifelong commitment this was. And when I got this animal, I had that passion and that drive that could give that animal its best possible life. But after 2-3 years, it just doesn't do that anymore. So
I get it.
I also have the resources to basically get everything in the right place. So say my pine snakes, right? I wasn't going to move across country with those. I don't know. I don't even know if that's legal at all. But they're with Jay Jacoby, who's like the best pine snake guy in the country, which probably means the world, right? So it's like, yeah, I have the resources to put things in the right places that make sense and further the species, beyond myself. So it's kind of easy for me to say. I think it's a person who has to maybe go to a Facebook group or a Craigslist group and sell it. That's where it gets a little bit weird. Although, you can vet that correctly too, honestly.
right. And I guess that's where I want it to become normalized is if you reach out to somebody at a show or you reach out to somebody online and you still do it the right way to find a new home for your animal, why are we shaming people like that?
Well, so there's a couple things to that though. Like I get that, and I get that like life's changed, but then also there's the other end of where someone went to a show and randomly picked up a sulcata because it was cute and it was $50 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then now that sulcata is going to end up being a 50, 60, 100-pound animal, and someone's also got to take care of it.
Let's take accountability. So to me, the
Really,
breeder
Robert?
and
Really?
the industry is basically responsible for finding the right owner for that and not basically producing hundreds of thousands of cicadas with nowhere to go.
See, that makes sense though. Like, that's not just on the buyer, that's on the
I get it.
seller.
Like I'd love to breed my sulcatas like once, but I don't.
Because
Because
who's better to control the 1,000
sulcatas.
people who breed these things or the hundreds of thousands that buy reptiles? I mean, I don't know why we. I mean, I want every person. It's split, to a degree, right?
I've been in animal rescue for over a decade. So I'm super split. I'm definitely, in fact, I was having a conversation with somebody that I volunteer with a few weeks ago. And we were talking about this exact conversation about, people rehoming their animals. And it's very situational for me because I've seen so much crap when people just decide that they're bored with an animal and then they dump it. And that I feel like that's a topic that could be dedicated to a whole other podcast.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's the problem. Like, so there's the part of you researched an animal, you thought it was awesome, you got it, you took care of it for a year or two, and you realized,
and you did it the right way.
Yeah, and you
like,
realize,
I'm not saying like you did it a crap way. Like you did it the right way.
You realize, okay, no, this wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Like, so I get that.
Which definitely happens.
Versus someone who just walked in and randomly bought something at a show or a PetSmart, and then a few months into it gets bored. But that's the same person who probably changes hobbies every 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
yeah. So that's a big thing. The kind of perpetual hobbyist in a lot of different areas. But I mean, that very thing, I mean, pretty much happened to me if I was someone who didn't stick with particular animals. So say, I mean, I love my Rhino Iguana, right? I did a lot of research before getting my Rhino Iguana. I have all the books about Rhino Iguanas. I've seen all the videos about Rhino Iguanas. I would say that, at least for my particular animal, I don't know of a reptile that's more overrated for their docile nature, especially at a young age. This animal is something you have to be very careful of, to be honest. It's not an animal I handle. It's not really an animal that I get hands-on with ever. So I feel like I was if I was someone else, without knowing that obviously I can get an animal with a different personality than another, I can imagine how I would be set up for failure getting a Rhino Iguana. Like very easily. Because really, when you get it from a breeder, they may ask you if you have an enclosure big enough, but they're not like, do you know that this has rows of razor sharp teeth and they're not necessarily docile, and those teeth are made for ripping apart leafy vegetables and then therefore would, cheese grate your finger?
You know what could solve this situation, I guess, maybe, is so with humane societies and shelters, they do a foster system where if you're interested in adopting a dog or a cat, they'll let you foster it for like a month or so to see how it goes. I mean, obviously you can't do that with reptiles, but
there are several that do. Like the rescue that I volunteer with, we actually do have a foster to adopt program. And that's especially, so mine's with dogs, but that's especially popular for like puppies that haven't been neutered yet, or spayed. So we keep them there and we can make sure that it's a good fit. And I mean, even for some, I think the biggest problem with reptiles is just there aren't a lot of rescues out there, that are handling reptiles.
And they stress different than mammals.
They do.
Yeah.
So and constant movement from here to there, and a setup for a bearded dragon is quite a setup. And the amount of bearded dragons that need homes because people got them and then realize I don't want this bearded dragon after whatever.
Yeah.
Well, the time that it takes for them to settle down and really, I mean, my Uromastyx, for example, it took a year before we finally got down a solid routine with one another where she even began to start warming up to me.
Yeah, I mean, mine's like 9 years old and still hates me.
Yeah, I mean, even that, like every once in a while, she'll take a leaf from my hand, and all the other times she's telling me to fuck off. So
I don't know. I don't know. It's just something that's been on my mind lately. I don't know.
I feel like
it's definitely situational, and
maybe it's not good. Maybe, it goes the way of a cat and dog where all of a sudden adopt, don't shop is kind of a thing. and breeders
Yeah.
are frowned upon. I mean, we're all breeders, right? But
Yeah.
I could see a world where that's the case, especially with, you know, the new, is it Gen Z, or is there even a generation before?
I don't
that?
even know.
I
But-
just call them annoying.
So you just
Gen
brought
X,
breeders up.
millennials, then Gen
So
Z.
They're just annoying.
So think about it. So if breeders, they buy a snake for their program, their breeding program, and then they're like, hey, this isn't working for me. They just turn around and they sell it. And their reasoning is it doesn't work for what I have. And nobody really second guesses that at all. You know what I mean?
It's true.
Yeah.
As a
so
breeder,
it's
and
almost
a-
like the
That-
it's almost
that's a
like
good
the,
point.
It's almost
actually.
like the breeders and like the people, like the families that, because I'm not thinking about like us. I'm thinking about
Mhm.
like the families that just own one or two reptiles and like they just want to find the right reptile for them. And I'll throw this out there. James may not like this, but I'm gonna throw this out there. Our daughter is a prime example.
She sucks with this whole thing.
Like she's like, I want this, and she gets so excited.
Oh, okay. Before we get there, one person in this house always says no.
And the other person is like, let's
And then
do
the other person
it.
shows
Can
up with
you
the
guess
fucking animal.
Which one is which?
Ooh, what kind of Euros are you breeding?
James Bergoli. Ignore James Bergoli. He's
No,
lurking in the
he
background.
said they're breeding.
He's probably driving home from work right now.
I want to.
He probably is. That's when
He
he
needs to
listens to us.
he needs to quit texting because he's driving home from work.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Stop
So-
texting and driving.
So like, but his car may do it for him. So like Travis up in the chat earlier said he's okay with responsible rehoming when it's done in the animal's best interest, not because it's more work than you expected or because you're bored. So I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, and in my opinion, if it's more work for you than you expected, or you're bored with that animal, then that makes it the animal's best interest for you to find it a new home.
Yes. I think, though, his point there, I would say, is like, for example, when it comes to you should do your research before you get a reptile.
Oh yeah,
People look at reptiles, and if you're not already in the hobby, your first thought when you start looking at keeping a reptile is, you know, oh, like I'm going to look so cool with this lizard that I can take to Petco with me. And then people realize that reptile keeping isn't necessarily as exciting as they thought it was.
Yeah.
And so, or like people are like,
see, and
hey,
I never
let
had
me get a
those
lizard
thoughts
for
'cause
my
I married
kid.
this guy,
But-
so I never had those thoughts.
Because let's go back to the dog and cat thing. It's very
Well,
it's very easy to own a dog or a cat in a sense that the stuff you need for it is very minimal. Food, water bowl, and you put them in your house and you're pretty good because there's not the setup that you need for a reptile.
You don't need special
unless you're all
lighting and heat
extra.
requirements.
and-
No, but
Other
just
than
this
your
basic
dogs
care.
are
'Cause,
And
over 100 pounds.
again, not everybody looks at pets the way we look at pets. So when
Right.
someone
True,
goes to get a
yeah,
pet,
yeah.
they look at it as it's just a pet. So when they get a dog, they get a dog. They go, all right, I got a food, a water bowl, throw it in the backyard, got a dog, we're good. Then that same person takes their kid to a reptile show or PetSmart or Petco.
It's like the
And-
goldfish from the fair.
Exactly. They take the same mentality
Mhm.
they took with, I got a dog, throw it in the backyard, we're good. All right, I got a snake, throw it in a tank, we're good. Or got a lizard, throw it in a tank, we're good. But there's a whole setup that goes with that.
Yeah.
And so it's a completely different beast. It's hard. It's really apples to oranges when we go talking about pets, because outside of dogs and cats, everything what we consider exotic pets take more care because
Oh yeah. I mean, even fish.
Mhm.
well, fish take way more care than most people give to them.
Yeah.
They're one of the most underappreciated pets on earth.
Oh, I learned by keeping a beta fish that fish were not for me.
So I had a
At
beta
all.
fish in college for, oh my gosh, I probably had that fish in high school and college close to 9 years. Like he was just a cool fish. Never had issues with it. It was super awesome. I got one for my birthday last year. A friend of ours gifted it to me for my birthday. He got too cold this winter in our bedroom. Our bedroom got too cold for him. Like I literally
As the heater was in the mail on
I
the way here.
literally had already bought the heater. The day before the heater arrived, I went to go check on him and he had died.
Oh no.
And I was like, son of a bitch. I was
Oh, that
so
sucks.
mad at myself because I was like, I think he's getting too cold in our bedroom. I need to get a little heater for him. So I got one. It was like literally arrived the next day.
It's still in the envelope downstairs now because we haven't opened it yet. Because
Yeah. I'm like, I'm not opening. I'm like, just put it under your daddy's fish tank.
I committed to Frank for as long as he lived, and when he died, I said no more. Because quite frankly, Frank was pretty, but he sucked.
Yeah.
I don't do fish. I don't do fish, and I don't do birds. They're too freaking messy.
but see, that's a matter of you got a fish, you realize you didn't, that wasn't your thing, and it may have been better early on to bring home the
Yes,
fish.
but also having the background that I do, like you said, we look at animals a lot differently than other people
Yes.
do. Like I realize this is a reptile podcast. My oldest dog, Gus, for example,
The Reptile Gumbo podcast. That can fall in the
You can,
gumbo
put
part.
you can put dogs in gumbo.
you know, with him, he was extremely challenging as a puppy. I rescued him when he was 7 weeks. I honestly was not in a good place to even get a dog at that time. It took me a solid year and a half to really bond with him, but I was like, I was committed, and I wasn't going to rehome him because I had been in rescue for so long, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Or it's like with my Euromastics, I thought I wanted to have a small army of Euromastics, and then I got my Euromastics and realized just how expensive they are to heat and house. And oh my God, it's so much money
to do right. Yeah.
Exactly. To do right. Because I see a lot of people post online and I'm looking at their setups and I'm like, oh my God.
Well, so go with what someone said in the chat. They said part of the problem is the whole bearded dragons make great fresh reptiles or whatever species, and then it's super high maintenance and expensive to keep. And I've always said that, and I go back and forth with this. People talk about bearded dragons be a great. Obviously, they're not a great beginner pet, but with that said, any pet, I guess, can be a good beginner pet if the right process take. Beardeds can be good if you're willing to set it up right.
I agree with that. I don't really like the term beginner pet. I used to, but I think that beginner pet gives a false idea to people about the kind of commitment that it actually takes to keep these animals.
See, and I don't even think it has to do with the commitment. I think it has to do with the ease that it takes to take care of that animal.
That too.
Because
I kind of loop all of that in together.
So let's talk about, Joe, you used to breed corns and sold lots of corn snakes, and corn snakes are seen as a great beginner snake. But you can definitely list a whole lot of reasons why it's not a great beginner snake as well, right? There's, size and all this stuff, especially as a baby. Like we know that baby corn snakes are a fucking nightmare. They're really good at getting out of shit. So I guess it's hard saying beginner, right? And you sold them as beginners, and they are a good beginner snake, but you also have to tell folks, here's all the issues with it being a beginner animal.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be no perfect situation where everything has a good outcome when you're selling snakes, breeding snakes. And it's something that always bummed me out when I was breeding and had a breeding business is you lose control once you sell an animal. You have zero control of what happens. And so many times that person comes back to you a week later saying it got out, and they're saying it died for whatever rich reason. And they put it on the dashboard of their car or something like that. We're on the way home and it bakes. So it's just part of the soul crushing job of being the old corn snake breeder, or any snake for that matter. They're just, what are you going to do? You got to either give up your control or give up breeding snakes. And I think I gave up breeding snakes.
See, that right there is why, I mean, I've thought about maybe one day getting into breeding. But if I did, it would be, very, very small, like I guess boutique breeding. Because I don't know how breeders handle that. I mean, even just working in rescue, like it's hard to let rescues go to a new home, but like to sell something and like trust somebody with something that you've helped create and then just having absolutely no control over that. For those exact reasons, you have no control anymore, and you can do your best to vet them, but people lie all the time,
And just make honest mistakes. I mean, you can make an honest mistake.
Exactly.
It doesn't feel any better that you're like, shit, maybe I should have told them that very specific thing could have happened, right? I could have avoided that, but really there's only so much you can do. And at the end of the day, also, I mean, going back to what I believe Katie said earlier, like breeders make business decisions all the time, like constantly. And in order to do it for a living, I think you need to make a lot of business decisions. And I guess I don't shame anyone for doing what they do for a living, but I have a choice of whether or not I want to do that or be a part of that, or what kind of impact I make on the community, or within my own life. And so, yeah, I don't judge anyone for doing it. But I suppose if you're thinking about becoming a professional breeder, remember that professional, that word comes with making professional decisions that put food on your table or reduce your costs a certain year, or you probably don't have those Uromastics because they're expensive as hell. And there's plenty of business trade-offs to make, and these trade-offs actually affect animals' lives, which is always was a little bit too much weight for me to be honest.
Makes sense.
And as well, like James says, working over at the herb shop, he'll talk somebody's ear off about an animal until they either go, no, that is the animal for me, or he talks them out of it, which I think all pet shops should do. They should give all the information possible, not just the information that sells the animal. That's what drives me nuts is you'll go to a store and they'll give all the information, the positive about selling animals. They won't give them all the warnings because they know if they give them enough warnings, they may not buy it. But the warnings are what they need so that if they do buy the animal, they're prepared for the things that could happen.
I always start with the negatives. Some people may not agree with that, but I feel like if I can give you all of the negatives about keeping, whether it's a certain breed of dog or a certain species of snake, if you can get past those negatives and you're still interested in learning about this animal and keeping it, then okay, now let's jump to the positives and talk about why this is a bad idea, but why it's also a really good idea. Like yesterday, my king snake tried to eat me. Do I recommend them? No. Do I want more? Yes.
Yeah, my Mexican black king is flighty as hell, but we're working on it.
Jeez.
Yeah. I'm still glad I have her.
I put a pinky in front of her mouth and she goes shooting in the opposite direction.
Okay, so I'll be honest. She is not nearly as spastic when there's not food involved. Let me just say.
Well,
like when you feed her, she is a million times worse.
All over the place. But so like another thing Bergoli said was, and I know where all of Sean's animals at his store come from. They come from breeders. Sean and James, and they pick them out from breeders. They're not ordering them. This is not a knock on small reptile stores that have to order them wholesale through all this. I know there's whatever, but the way they do it,
they are lucky enough to have the resources to get
the way he's able to do it straight from breeders, know where they come from, and know all the information. There's a little more pride taken in when they sell these animals. They're not getting in a $12 iguana and just turning it around for $50 because they just got to get them moving, right? So there's a little more ownership in there. So that's what James is saying is he wants to make sure that since he's getting the animals from breeders they know, he wants to do his job to make sure those animals go to the right place. And more places should do that.
And I also love, because Sean and I have talked about this before, he has even said that if there's something, because sometimes you'll go into a pet store and you'll see like that really, not necessarily rare, but that animal that you don't typically see in a pet store.
Yeah.
And Sean has even said, like, we're not going to put that there. But if somebody comes into my store and says, I'm interested in this, he's like, and we can talk to them and we realize, hey, they really are interested in this. He's like, then we can find it for them. And so I think that's really cool too, because they offer that service.
Well, and Robin Williamson, we had her on the interviews. She sells tegus, and she makes sure to tell everybody, because again, someone sees a baby tegu and it's adorable, but it's going to turn into a large lizard that takes a large space that can do a lot of damage.
Did we talk about that when she was on?
What?
That they have a bite force stronger than a pit bull and they death roll when they bite?
Well, they all death roll. Yeah.
Did we talk about that?
No.
I did not know this.
I didn't know this either. Oh, that's freaking cool.
I kind of want to see it.
Now you're like, it rips fingers off. I want that.
I want to see
it. But so she's selling an animal that definitely has downs. I think all animals, I don't want to say downsides, but they all have things that people need to know about.
You have the pros and the cons. I mean, just call it what it is.
And there are too many, and even this is even for breeders and people shows, they will do it. And again, it goes back like Joe said, if it's someone's livelihood, they can't always, I guess, risk not making a sale. I mean, if they need to pay rent that month,
if that is their sole source of income.
So there's a balance.
I totally
there's a balance that has to be done. And so I think it's with everything in this hobby, it's impossible to put blanket statements on everything in this hobby. And we see it all the time. That's what starts 5 million arguments on social media is blanket statements. Someone from Australia in a group asked, they don't understand how Americans can use racks, yada, yada. So I explained why I use racks. And then, of course, I got attacked by several people who how they're horrible and yada, yada. And so I'm like, okay, but they do work, even if you want to tell me they don't work. So it's the whole blanket. There's so many ways to do this hobby.
That's why we have a group in the female herps group that there is a no husbandry policing rule, because
There is. Yeah, that's one of our rules on that group.
Because there are so many different ways of doing things. Obviously we all know that there are things that are just blatantly wrong when it comes to reptile keeping. Heat rocks, reptile carpet.
We all agree heat rocks are wrong.
We all agree that they are garbage.
That is the one blanket statement that we have all said.
Where
we can
were
agree
we
on
that
that.
we saw one?
Probably PetSmart.
No.
Can we?
Good. Oh no, he froze.
Oh.
There he is.
I think he's still frozen.
Oh no.
What? Me?
Yeah.
Oh, there you
I'm
are.
alive.
Yes, you are alive.
It's being glitchy.
I'm just very steady. I feel like we can. Oh shit! I have the sound on for Facebook now, and things are going on. So
We don't hear any of that, so you're good.
I feel like we can make the heat rock concept work. Can we make, like, as a joke, but make it a really good product, a heat rock that actually works?
There's
like,
bound to be a way to make it.
like
legit.
what would make that a good product?
It would have
we
to have a
still did the
thermostat.
fucking ceramic orange rock, but it actually works.
It would have to cost an extra 40, 50, 60 bucks
Perfect.
and have a built-in thermostat in it.
Ooh.
So that you could actually run it.
Rhonda said that she cuts the cords off and uses them as decorations.
I've done that. I have done that. They do make a really good weighted down decoration.
I mean, I guess if you have something that's gonna like toss everything around in your cage, or like, because she does tegu, so if you need something that has substantial weight to it, that would be a good thing to do.
So the other problem with heat rocks that we always talk about burning your animals. There's a live wire inside your cage.
That is true.
Just there for the animal. Like if you have a lizard for it to chew on or whatever. Like,
yeah, but that's also true when you have those heat panels, especially the new, what are they, RBI, where they actually unplug like in your enclosure, which is
that is true.
silly.
I have it. So yeah, they're a pain in the ass. If you don't put them up against the back of your enclosure, and some people will put them in the middle, your snake will just keep yanking the cord out if you don't secure it in there right.
And then if you attach it to your container somehow with like a tape or an adhesive, you run the risk of your snake getting involved in that.
Getting it in the yeah, that's a nightmare.
Getting like in the tape. We had that happen.
It's a fucking nightmare.
And it was terrifying for me.
A snake stuck to Gorilla Tape is not fun.
Oh my God.
There was lots of vegetable oil used.
I was going to say, is it like if they get stuck with those sticky traps
and not
you just oil the shit out of them?
You've all done that for mites, right? At one point.
I have oil enough.
Have you done that?
I have. I'm spraying the crap out of them with Nick's spray to try and get rid of fucking mites.
Are they still around?
Yeah.
We finally thought that they were gone because it had been so long since we'd seen.
And then you open up a tub and there's a mite in the water bowl, and you're like,
and
fuck.
there was a mite, like one single mite, and I'm like, ugh.
Jesus.
So eventually we will be mite free, and rainbow babies can be sold.
Yeah, they're the only ones right now that currently seem to have mites.
We got a whole freaking litter of rainbow boas that he can't sell because I want to get rid of these things.
Okay, well, fuck you. They're my snakes. Don't say shit about my snakes. But
at least they're pretty.
They are pretty.
They are.
Yeah.
And we finally sexed them all the other night.
Yeah.
So that was fun. Well,
I think things are only, this is a controversial opinion, but snakes are only pretty like in twos. I think once you make like a litter of 30 of them, I think it becomes exponentially less fun as time goes on.
Oh, not to me. Not to me. Katie can attest to this.
Hey, Joe, you're not wrong.
No, that's not true because.
But it's not. I will say
every time there is a litter of snakes born in this house, I guarantee the next 5 houses over know that I have
100%.
snakes born.
100%. He comes screaming through the house. The whole world. It doesn't matter what time it is. It could be 3 a.m.
It could be fucking back-to-back litters. Like I could have a litter tonight and a litter tomorrow, and you'll hear me yell "babies" from across
and he
the
will wake
house.
up the whole house. We all have to go in the snake room. We all have to be involved in the photographs. Oh yeah, it's a whole thing. Every single time. Every litter.
I love it every time. I can't help but get excited.
I won't lie. I do get excited for him just because he is so excited about
with that
this.
said, with that said, I would say that if that's not the feeling you get when you open up a tub of eggs or a litter of babies, then it's probably not the thing for you. which is
That-
fine.
No,
Or-
I think the problem with me personally is, say if it's a line graph and like, your excitement's the vertical and the amount of time, then like I'm excited when they're first out of the egg, and then that line goes down.
Oh, no.
Down.
I love
It's
it.
the most exciting for like the first 2 weeks.
I'm still excited. I don't know. It just gets me. But
That's how
Maybe
I
I'm
feel
not
about,
built for it. Maybe I don't love animals.
That's
you
how I
know?
feel
Maybe I'm a
about
monster.
puppies.
Whatever.
That's how I feel about
May-
puppies. Like I want puppies when they're like up until they're like
this fucking dog grew up.
when
Get
they're
out of
like
here.
12 weeks old. I'm like, nope, okay, somebody else can take it now. And like you just want it in like the small little cute stage.
Oh no, I like my dogs like 5 years old and up.
See, I told my husband because Gus was 7 weeks when I got him, and I swore after that I was like, I'm done with puppies. And then I got Maverick, and he was like 4 months old,
Which is still
And-
very much a puppy.
and large breeds, they stay a puppy
2
until they're
years.
like 3 years
Yeah.
old.
Uh-huh.
And so I told my husband, I'm like, the next time we get a dog, I'm going to the shelter and I'm going to be like, give me the oldest dog here who takes naps all day.
Give me that lazy
Like,
motherfucker in the back.
Just
Give me the two-legged one that
more
can't run away.
kittens. No more kittens either, because
Or cats suck in general,
They're
so
just-
just stay away from cats. in
okay, I
general.
have 3.
I can't help you make bad decisions.
They're terrible.
Yeah, horrible animals.
I love them.
Speaking
but
of
they're
horrible-
the
I love
worst.
them.
Speaking of
I'm
horrible
so
cats,
allergic.
April's in the chat. What's up, April? And your ball sacks?
Her cats are not
They're not.
horrible.
They've been in my house before, and I did not completely hate them.
I mean, mine are really sweet.
But-
They're just assholes.
So what April says is the what Joe was saying about after 2 weeks. Her line is when they need assist feeding. That's when they are no longer fun. That's,
Agreed.
That's why I don't
Ryan
do
is
assist
not
feeding.
wrong. I grew up with corgis. And let me tell you, when someone says they want a corgi puppy, all I do is laugh because they just don't know. They
Yeah.
don't understand.
I want a corgi puppy,
They're like,
James,
but they
that-
shed
they are
they shed too
Satan.
damn much for me to get a
They
corgi
are
puppy.
Satan.
All right, back to reptiles. Anyways, so
Sorry for our little tangent on
No.
our conversation tonight.
So Joe, your reptile keeping though has drastically changed. You've gone from having a crap ton of one species to now having a menagerie of reptiles. Has that changed? Has that reignited your, and I hate to use the word passion, but there's really another word, your passion for the hobby by going into all these different species than just having a closet full of corn snakes?
Yeah, I mean, it's really nice to go deep and learn as much as you can as at one thing, but it's also really nice to have fun. And I don't need to know the scale count of my jeweled Lacerda. I just need to give it its fucking food and give it its heat and humidity and move on with my day and feed it a mealworm every once in a while and see it go crazy and take it from the tongs. And it's just a good time. I don't have to less stress about it, especially even just say social media, not posting them up on social media all the time and having to defend your way of keeping, what you're doing, what you're feeding. It seems like everyone's just willing to kind of have their own opinion, which is fine because I'm putting it out there. But yeah, I would just rather not have it out there. So that's kind of why, I mean, when I do post something, it's very short and simple, and people still find things about it. So like last time, I keep the front glass on my iguana's enclosure open like the majority of the time in my office because I'm in here most all of the day working from home, and she'll come out and she'll like kind of get used to me. There'll be a day every once in a while where she'll like try to climb up my leg and stuff like that, probably strictly for food. But it's like sometimes she's just getting used to my presence, which has been really helpful. But in my old apartment in Philly, there was like a heater with like really old. So my old place in Philly was like literally from the 1700s. And there was this old radiator that was probably, 80 years old. And they were like, you keep it in that dirty, disgusting thing. And it's like, yeah, it's just something, a radiator in my house. She doesn't live in the radiator. She lives in an enclosure, but it's in the back of the picture.
That's when you'd be like,
the
"Oh,
way
man.
you responded just now is exactly the way I
but like-
respond when people are like, you just let those snakes roam all over your house. I'm like, yes, you dipshit. No, I keep them in cages.
No, but the
Come
worst thing
on.
was it's Joe's house. He lives in that. Like that's the
Yeah,
thing,
I'm
like,
the scumbag
you-
who lives here.
You let your animal live there, like fucker. I live here. Fuck
Yeah.
you.
And guess what? It's a lot more expensive than your whole trailer in fucking middle of Mississippi.
I don't know.
I'm
All that
in the
meth in
middle
their
of a
trailer
city
was,
in a fucking box.
all that meth in their trailer is probably worth a lot.
You
so.
live in Austin, which is arguably the most expensive city in Texas to live in.
Well, the most
Yeah, but it's
expensive
still pretty
outside of
pretty
San
neck and
Francisco
neck.
and New York.
I'll say I'm
Pretty neck
sure
and neck
it's
with
still a
Dallas.
hell of a lot cheaper than
Oh yeah.
Philly,
it's-
huh?
No. This is actually more expensive now. So since Tesla's here,
It's a small part of California.
Google's here,
Basically,
all this
you know, they
shit.
always said California was going to break off into the ocean. It didn't. It broke off and landed in the middle of Texas.
Gotcha.
Austin is basically the Orange County of Texas.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
It's
have
where
a
all
kid
the
doing a research project on Tesla.
it's where all the hipsters hang out with their IPA beers.
I'm excited about
That's why
that
you
project.
moved there. Leave him alone.
Because I don't actually know much.
I'm upset that he shaved his hipster beard. Actually, you got to grow that back. You're now in Austin. It fits
It wasn't. It was nice. The
No,
facial
yeah,
was
you got to be
nice.
different though. I mean, like everyone's doing that shit here.
I mean,
and-
you look nice without it too. Don't get me wrong.
Thank
You
you.
got to get you
Just saying.
a flannel shirt, hipster
No,
beard.
we don't
I
have to
do
go
have
that
a
far.
lot of flannel.
Start
shirts.
having
It's so
opinions.
fucking hot.
You got to have an opinion on everything. Everything. You need an opinion on everything, and it has to be the opposite of whoever you're talking to at that moment.
I mean, you would fit in great, James.
I know.
You would fit.
This
in
is
great.
actually
You can't end the argument with
But
fuck off. That you can't do that.
you-
I would.
They probably don't eat a lot of bacon there, so like you wouldn't.
no,
survive.
you would be surprised. This
No.
is like Austin is still Texas. I mean, don't
Oh,
get me
yeah.
wrong. It's like bullshit,
It's
but
like
it's
the
like,
taco capital
Nice.
of Texas.
but everyone's like a Joe Rogan liberal, right? They're like very progressive, but they're like, I eat deer still. You know,
Yeah.
that's like kind of.
Okay,
They all
okay.
listen to the Joe Rogan
Yeah.
experience, and
Yeah.
that's where they form all their opinions. So
They
yeah,
all-
everyone's kind of the same.
They're eating kale, but they wrap it in bacon.
Yes.
Yeah,
Legit. I could get behind that.
Okay, you ruined bacon by wrapping it. Anyways, yes, Max, I was describing you too. You are a hipster. You are. I looked it up in the dictionary. It was a
Yeah, but
picture
he
of you.
also lives like straight up Bible Belt in like the most religious place of all time, which is always Abilene. Just because I used to work on Dias Air Force Base, which is right over there, and it's like the fact that Max is there is just so interesting. I'm like, you're definitely the coolest person here, like by far.
I just feel like Max ran out of money. Like he was driving through the country, ran out of money there, and that's
He
why
broke
lives there.
down in Abilene. Yeah.
That's just where it was. He's like, all right, I'll live here now.
Love it.
Oh, all right. I did have a list of stuff I wanted to talk about this week. Let me pull that up. Talk amongst yourselves.
Thanks for letting me talk about thoughts in my. I don't contribute that often. I feel like I contribute.
No, because you're normally playing on your computer.
I contributed enough. That's because I've already done my lesson plans for the week, so I
Oh.
don't have to write lesson plans tonight.
All right, so
It's a legit issue.
So there were a few things I want to talk about. I put them on here. I forgot to mention last time. So when we were in College Station, right? It was College Station?
Yes, Bryan College
So
Station.
we were in Bryan College Station on CBS.
60 minutes.
60 Minutes. They aired a special on Ben Rennick. And we've talked about Ben Rennick before on here. Ben Rennick was a big time breeder. He had done some amazing stuff. Had the albino anacondas that Megan now has. Not this Megan, other Megan. And a lot of other things. What?
There's too many Megans.
There are too many Megans. I agree about one too many right now. Oh, just kidding.
I'll stab you with your Lego pin.
Hey, leave my Lego
Continue,
pins.
please.
Anyways, so they did this special on Ben, and I was very worried when they did it because I was very worried they were going to vilify the snakes, even though the snakes had nothing to do with the death of Ben and any of that. It was definitely a people person or a people article. But they did a very good job. One, Dave Kaufman was in it, which brought, I think, a validity to the whole issue when it came to snakes. He's a very good voice for that. He does very good for that kind of stuff. I thought he did a great job. My problem watching that was the entire time my inner monologue was "fuck this bitch" the whole time. I couldn't help it.
Tell us how you feel, James.
Every
Tell us how
time,
you feel.
every time his wife's face would show up on the screen. For those who don't know, the bitch shot her husband
In the back.
in the back several times, and still got off fairly light. She only got like 16 years of prison for killing him. But anyways. So if you haven't watched it, it is on Paramount. If you have Paramount Plus, you can go on there. It is on there. You can watch it. It's a very good, a well done piece. It does suck because again, it brings up the whole shooting of Ben Rennick and all that. But from like I said, everything I've ever heard of him, I've never heard a negative thing about Ben. And I thought they did a very good job of not making it seem like. Now at the very beginning, it was kind of funny because these sheriff's deputies are going in there like carrying shotguns and saying, if I see a snake, I'm going to shoot it. Like they were horrified because they thought a snake had got him.
Well, because so the only part that I actually am familiar with the whole story is when it was called in, like they originally thought the snake had killed him.
But when they realized he was full of bullet holes, that it wasn't a snake.
They changed their.
It wasn't a snake. But they went in there like creeped out, afraid that it was. I mean, if you're not used to walking into a large scale breeding facility, it could be very,
especially if you're afraid
unnerving.
Of those animals.
I mean, daunting.
Yeah.
But I would say go watch that. It's very interesting.
You said it's on Paramount.
It's on Paramount Plus. It's because it was 60 minutes episode. And like I said, Dave Kaufman was in there. He did a great job. He really showed the love for snakes and how they weren't bad.
Depending on your television provider, you may have CBS on demand.
That's true. Maybe on demand.
Maybe on demand.
That's true.
So
you have to watch that.
I meant to bring that up like 2 weeks ago, and I forgot to bring it up. But I wanted to bring it up. The bitch still deserves to get more than 16 years in prison. But whatever. That's neither here nor there.
Meth, hell of a drug. All right. Positive talking points, anyone?
Yeah.
The good news, if you like his albino anacondas, Megan is now breeding the albino anaconda, and Megaconda is now breeding the albino anacondas. And I think she's not far from having snow anacondas, which will be very interesting to see. Solid white anacondas.
That's cool.
That's gonna be
because she has aneries
awesome.
and she has the albinos now.
Very cool. So it was not a movie. It was actually an episode of 60 Minutes.
Yeah, it was an episode of 60 Minutes. The person that's what movie it was. I forget what the episode was. It was like I can't remember what it was. It was some play on snakes and his wife. It should have been the bitch that killed Ben Rennick.
Cold-blooded killer. Something like that.
I don't think that's what it was.
No, that would have worked. That would have worked.
That would have been a good one.
Again, it'll be very hard. Like I said, I watched it the entire time calling her a bitch. Oh, good news for me. Here's a positive. So I know over the last 3 years or so now, I've talked about this.
Yes, this is a positive. I know what this is.
Because the original story happened on the night that I was actually recording the podcast with Travis.
Yep.
When I got in trouble for selling a carpet python in Louisiana.
And
because apparently it's on the list of things you can't sell.
The government showed up at our house.
Yeah, I know. Wildlife Fishery showed up at my house.
You can't even sell them even with
you have
to have a permit. Okay.
But at the time that we sold it, we didn't know the permit was needed.
Okay.
I'll fill you in for anybody that's, some people don't know. I sold one carpet python at a show to a guy that lived in Texas. He took it back to Texas with him. He apparently then sold it to another guy later on. That guy got in trouble for something. I don't know what.
And when they busted his house, they found the snake.
Her. And somehow they tracked it from him to the other guy to me. Why to track the snake that's not illegal to own in Texas? I don't fucking know. But they got to me in Louisiana. And then they realized that it's on the list of animals that you have to have a permit for because there's the way the law is written, it's snakes over 8 foot. But the way it's written, it could be, is it snakes currently over 8 foot or is it snakes that will reach over 8 foot? And then they also have a list of species. Morelia, specifically carpet pythons and diamond pythons, are on that list.
But that's it.
Because someone Google searched snakes over 8 foot, and then they made this law. Because Apodora is on there, and like 10 fucking people own that snake. So, anyways. So they ended up having to give me a ticket for selling the snake. But when they came into my house, I know what they expected to find. What everyone thinks.
What they found was a house full of moving boxes because we were in the process of moving.
They expected to find tons of shit. And when they realized everything was nice and orderly and we went through it one by one, they kind of felt bad, but they wrote me a ticket for selling the snake, whatever. I ended up having to, like a year or two later, I got a call that I had to take it to court. So I hired a lawyer. Then we moved. And so he went for me, so I didn't have to go back for it. And I finally heard from the DA the other day. He calls me and goes, so we're not going to charge you or fine you for this. We think that you take care of these animals properly and that you care for them. And I'm like, thank you. But I'm thinking, why would you come after me for one fucking snake? He's like,
right.
He was like, if you would send us the the permits that you got now so you can sell. He's like, I don't sell those snakes. I sold one. I don't need a permit because I don't sell them. He's like, oh, okay.
Plus,
so anyways,
you don't even live there anyway.
Yeah, no, I didn't bring that up.
Require them.
I didn't bring it up. But so yeah, I'm no longer going to go to prison
Yay.
I mean, I
You
don't
were
put it
never
up.
going to go
Gotta
to
go prison
prison.
either. But I am good. There's no fine. There's no
Knowing that part of that chapter of
done.
our life is closed
Fucking
is
done.
actually a very big relief.
So
for
if
me.
you
I'm
sell-
saying.
if you sell a boa constrictor or pretty much any python besides ball pythons in the state of Louisiana,
Have
a
a
permit, because they will chase your ass down from 2 states away through 3 different people owned. The amount of time and money it took for them to find me has to be fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, that's some podunk bullshit. Plus, I mean, just move to Texas, you idiots.
Yes.
Get it together.
Knowing how Louisiana actually is as a state, it's
Oh, they
hilarious.
want the money.
Oh,
It is hilarious to me
Oh, yeah.
that is what they chose to spend
But
their
here's the
time on.
I honestly want to know how the fuck they found me. My name's not stamped on the damn snake. Like that.
Oh,
How did they
And it
find
wasn't
me?
even a snake we reproduced. Like it was.
We reproduced? Produced.
Shut up. You know what I mean?
I didn't make it again either.
But it's not like it wasn't anything we had. We were literally selling it for a friend.
So it wasn't even yours.
No.
A buddy of mine from
horrible
college
snake,
didn't want it
too.
anymore. I kept it for years. She was a bitch the entire time. I was like, fuck it, I'm done feeding this thing. I'm gonna sell it.
And
Sold
we
the one
did.
snake, and then I got it. They showed up at my house to bust me as the horrible snake person with all my snakes.
Yeah.
And then
Crazy.
oh, you'd love it. I showed them. I was like, well, these are sand boas. They said, boas, is that a boa constrictor? No, it's not. It's a sand boa.
Yeah.
It's not a boa constrictor.
When I got
They
my
did know the pine snake though.
No, they did. Once I pointed it out.
I'll-
Oh no, that's
I'll
true.
give them that.
I was like, I stopped him. I said, look, the only thing you're probably going to be interested in is this. This is Louisiana pine snake, but it's captive bred. And I explained where I got it from. They knew Theron. He was on their radar. So they knew him.
Yeah, I imagine so.
So we were good. They knew where it came from. They knew it came from captivity. I was good. But yeah. So
Yeah.
that was fucking interesting.
what an adventure.
Everything.
But
with
I'm
him
good.
is-
I'm a free
everything
man.
with James is an adventure.
Oh, speaking of Dave Kaufman, Dave Kaufman put out 2 videos on his, I want to get it right. It's Dave Kaufman's Animal Adventures. He has like 3 different YouTube channels now. On his Animal Adventures one, it was a 2-parter at the Fort Worth Zoo, which is one of the, for reptile, if you're a reptile person, one of the coolest zoos you could possibly go to for reptiles. So he did one on
That's
the
your hometown, isn't it?
I remember when
They
they
built it?
when they built it and opened that herpetarium, and
Oh.
man,
Love it.
it's one of the best reptile houses. It's so freaking
So
cool.
his first episode is the zoo. The second episode is MOLA, the Museum of Living Art, and that's the reptile and amphibian. And if you've ever wanted to think, where should I go and sit and eat an expensive meal at a zoo that doesn't taste that great? It's at MOLA, because you can
Yep.
sit right next to a gharial. That's the only thing that makes eating that really expensive chicken sandwich worth it. It's
That
because
was a fun day.
there's a giant gharial next to you. So
I'm just gonna throw this out there too. If you have small children, they have an
you
amazing
can feed them to the gharial.
water park
Oh.
at that zoo.
oh,
do.
the Fort Worth Zoo is phenomenal.
So, like, if you are in a relationship that has small children and maybe the rest of the family does not appreciate the reptile side, you go hang out
Drop them
the
off at the water park.
reptiles, and then they can go hang out in the water park section.
Is it
Because
Fort
you really
Worth?
need 2 days to do that.
Is it
zoo.
Fort Worth
You
or
really
Dallas?
do.
That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
zoo that's super. It's Fort Worth that's super long, right?
No, the Dallas Zoo is like
No, yeah, the
one
Dallas
long
Zoo is
strip.
long.
That's the really, really long one.
Yeah.
Mhm, yeah.
Okay. That's like the Dallas Zoo's okay, but if you're in Dallas, go to the aquarium. If you're in Fort Worth, go to
Yeah.
the zoo.
The zoo, yeah, Fort Worth Zoo is awesome. In fact, I don't know if you saw that picture that I posted the other day of me in front of the Komodo.
Yeah.
That was my very first trip to the herpetarium at Fort Worth right after they opened it. And
Nice.
man, I took my best friend who is not a reptile person, and yeah, it was such a great day.
Joe, you
I gotta
used to
go
live
back.
there. I'm assuming you've gone to MOLA, right?
Yeah, and I've been to the Dallas Zoo as well.
Do you have free time to go and do fun stuff like this?
Weekends for the most part, yeah.
That's cool.
Sometimes I think.
I also Dave did a video at the aquarium in Dallas, which was at the aquarium of,
Is it the Dallas World Aquarium?
I think.
I've actually never
Yeah.
been to the Dallas World Aquarium.
It's awesome.
My husband and I tried to go one time because when we first, like, for a while, it was like shut down because they were doing a bunch of renovations. And then we tried to go one time for our anniversary, which just so happens to fall on spring break.
Bad
We
choice.
forgot about that.
Bad choice.
And so we get there and the line is out the door wrapped around the building twice. And we said, absolutely not.
nope.
And so we left and I haven't been back.
Yeah.
But you should go back. It's so
I should go back.
That one being called an aquarium is tricky because yes, it is an aquarium, but it's a zoo. I mean, it's like they've got
That's what
giant
I've
Orinoco
heard.
crocodiles and giant. They got a big flight cage area with parrots.
Sloth exhibit is cool.
Sloth. They've got a huge anaconda with like a bunch of little cardinal tetras in the cage. It's pretty.
Speaking of sloth exhibits, guess who I found out is going to be adding a sloth to their zoo?
The Learning Zoo.
The Learning Zoo. I'm
Yes.
so excited.
That's exciting.
We still got to
Wonder if
go.
they'll
I keep
have it
telling
by
Drew
April
we're going to go
30th.
there.
We'll take pictures
Yeah.
at our brunch for you.
Fuck yeah. I identify as a woman for that brunch, so I can go to the woman's brunch because I identify as one. You can't tell me I can't identify as one.
Well, I'm telling you one.
You can't.
Telling you one
Look,
now.
if-
I'm
if
telling you
it's-
now.
If I can't take our child, I'm not taking you. But you guys are going to go to the zoo, and we're going to meet you at the zoo later. You just don't know about these plans yet.
Yes, we're going to talk about that later,
That zoo?
along with the other stuff that we're
Okay.
talking that you guys are apparently talking about
Right,
later.
Okay.
It's in my list.
Apparently, we're doing stuff. So the next thing I want to talk about, and this is going to be more of a bitch fest. I enjoy these things. Is the cop shooting the fucking snake and then being the hero for it?
Dude, I had to, because for some reason the Houston Chronicle thought that I wanted that as a sponsored ad in my Facebook feed. So literally, like multiple times a day, it is popping up in my feed
So-
because I clicked on it.
So for those that haven't seen it, there was a cop
I've
in
seen it, but I have not read the
All right, so
article or
it's
any of that.
a cop in Texas. He had gone off the side of the road to look at something, a car or something. Anyways, found a rattlesnake in Texas in the grass. Go figure. And he shot it. Said because it was rattling and
and it was
in
in
an
a
attack
strike
position.
pose.
an attack position
Yeah.
or whatever.
Dumbass.
And so he shot it and killed it. And the way the article writes and the way he says it, it seems like he's the hero for shooting this rattlesnake that was literally fucking doing nothing. It was just sitting there in the grass.
Oh, the original article that I read was it was like the cop officer so and so, whatever the hell his name is, wants to warn people about the snakes this season. And I'm like,
I'm more
what's to
so
warn?
Here's what I told my dad. My dad, because I called the guy a joke. He's like, well, I don't. And my dad's like, I don't know if he's a joke. I said he's a joke, and here's why. While in uniform, he fired his weapon at an animal that was not causing any harm to the people he is sworn to protect. None of what he did is in his job details. None of it.
Nope.
He's not a hero for doing it. He went and killed an animal for no reason. So that's a problem. His first response to I don't like this thing was I'm going to shoot it. That's a problem. So, and of course, a bunch of people are going to think he's a hero because he killed a snake and the only good snake. So fuck you, by the way, for the person that was about to say that.
Yeah,
Hey,
I avoided the comments.
You know, police don't get a lot of good PR these days, so cut him a fucking break, all right? He's a hero.
Oh, so that happened. That was all over Facebook because it was in Texas. It was all over every group.
That is the one downside of Texas.
Mhm.
We've been really hyping it up, but really, yeah, only good snake's a dead snake is very common attitude.
I think that's actually they're having a license plate come out soon that will say that the only good snakes. I'm just kidding. It's not good.
Oh, I can't wait until my husband and I are talking about a new car right now. And we're looking at possibly a truck. And I already have like a list of all of the snake magnets that is going to go on my vehicle. I can't wait. Nobody is going to mistake who I am when I'm driving through the neighborhood.
Oh,
Just make sure none of them are in attack position and you'll be safe.
someone's gonna shoot the car window. That's not even
Yeah.
an attack position.
I thought about posting about, because I posted about Ophelia on the female herp group. I almost posted about it on my personal page, but the people on my personal page are not going to understand the humor behind a king snake trying to eat my finger.
Yeah.
So I was like, we'll save that for the snake groups.
Yeah, that's gonna you're gonna
Good
get
call,
10
good call.
replies going. See, that's why you shouldn't own
Right?
snakes.
Did it size you up first?
It laid next to you in bed. It's like, oh, fuck. I hate that story. So there's a new show coming on Peacock called Killing It, and I thought it was fucking hilarious. It's Craig Robinson, but I think Craig Robinson's hilarious because I love The Office and he was on there. And it's he goes down to Florida, and from what I can tell, begins killing Burmese pythons because he realizes he can make money trying to kill Burmese pythons, and like it's pretty funny. And I was like, well, we just talked about killing snakes and that's bad, but I've always said I would love to go to Florida and hunt Burmese pythons. They don't belong there. And at one point, and he's killing them with a nail gun He holds the head of the snake in his hand and then shoots the snake in the head with the nail gun. And so he basically nailed a snake to his hand. And so he has this giant Burmese python nailed to his hand.
Oh my God, that sounds so painful.
Yeah, this is totally your kind of film.
Ow.
It is. It's Craig Grant. It's a TV show on Peacock.
This says movie.
Wait, so
it a
this has
movie?
like a storyline that goes for
Yeah.
multiple episodes?
Oh, it's
No,
a,
no,
it's
no,
a
no.
movie?
It's a movie. Because
Oh,
right
okay.
here, it
No,
just
it's a series. Craig Grant's
It's
Peacock
a
series.
TV series
God.
on IMDb.
Well, this says,
Although in the picture of the series, there's a
this
picture
totally
of
says movie
a ball
trailer.
python and a boa and a what the fuck is that? Is that a Angolan?
This sounds like, is it like,
This is going to be snakes on a plane.
is this like stupid humor?
It's stupid humor.
Yeah.
This is right up my husband's alley.
This is why I'm
Yeah.
not going to watch it.
But at least the only snake killing he's
That-
doing is
that makes-
Burmese pythons
that
in the
makes two
Everglades,
of
which I can
us.
get behind. I can get behind killing Burmese pythons in the Everglades.
Although he is funny, I do like him.
Craig Robinson's hilarious, unless he's trying to sell you greasy ass pizza from Pizza Hut. Sorry, it's just nasty ass pizza. And that pizza was great when
This
I
You
could be
prefer
bad for-
Domino's?
over Pizza Hut. Yes,
Okay.
I mean Pizza Hut was great when I was 10, and I would get free pizza because I read 10 books or whatever.
That
And
was
so-
the best.
Remember that? You go to
Yes.
Pizza Hut and
They
get
still do that. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I know. But
and then they had the
apparently I'm
table.
too
They had
old
the
for it
tabletop.
now.
They had the tabletop Pac-Man game, so that was always fun. You could play the tabletop Pac-Man game.
I used to work at a Pizza Hut, like with the salad buffet and everything. Yeah, I don't miss it. At
Oh,
all.
you know those old, you had those old tile lights? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, we had them.
Like
Oh yeah,
Different color paint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that used to be the
Those.
shit though. Like on a Friday, and you took your little coupon to get your free pizza, and go to parents would take you to Pizza Hut. You were the shit.
Oh, I loved it when kids came in with their little coupons. I was so excited. Talk to me about the books they
I'm
read.
not gonna lie, I miss being a kid. This whole having to pay.
I
rent
miss
shit
not
sucks.
having bills.
Yeah,
I've been not having to worry about the price of gas.
that's why people are like,
Because
money
right
doesn't-
now it's a bummer, man.
people are like money doesn't buy happiness. Bullshit. If I had millions of dollars,
You'd have all the Lego kits you wanted.
tons of Lego and snakes. It'd just be Lego and snakes all over this fucking house. Oh,
Aren't you so lucky that he's not a millionaire, Katie?
Yeah.
no, right. Currently,
Look,
we
let
still
me
have
tell you,
Legos and snakes all over this house.
There
It's
are,
not-
Actually,
there are
yeah.
way worse hobbies that he could have.
That's
'Cause
what
I
I
know
keep
ex-
telling my husband.
I know exactly where he is every night.
Yes,
I
Ryan
don't
Cox.
mind
I
at
read
all.
books if it meant free pizza as a kid. I read plenty of books as a kid because you got free pizza. See, that's the problem is they quit giving you the right
Incentives.
I kept wanting to say incentives, and like that's not a word.
Not the word.
And I should have read more books.
It's like I can see your brain.
It's
struggling
okay.
with
He's
that
a
word.
science teacher.
Yeah, don't teach
Right.
English. Fuck that. Hey, did you know they don't teach this? This is off topic, but we're teaching genetics right now. I'm teaching dihybrid crosses, which tomorrow I'm taking my snakes in, so I'm tying it back in. I'm taking my snakes in to teach monohybrid and dihybrid crosses.
I don't know what that means.
What the fuck is wrong?
I don't know what he's saying.
That-
He teaches me this lesson every year, and I still can't tell
What
you.
grade do you teach?
High school biology.
Oh, I
It's
would
like
fail
the
that.
the Punnett
Punnett
squares
squares.
where you have like
How can you not like
the
Punnett squares? Are so
mom
much fun to
is
do.
big A,
Nerd
big A, and
alert.
the dad
Yes.
is big A, little A, and then what are the chances they could have babies? And it's
The fuck is
10 years of him teaching.
this? Is
me
why
this
you're never allowed to
lesson.
breed.
Wait, so
anything.
she doesn't do ball pythons, does she?
No, no.
Oh no!
I think ball pythons are pretty, and that is where I will leave my opinion of ball python.
That's not where I leave my opinion.
We all know your opinion.
You said it
Jared.
all.
Anyway, so to teach dihybrid crosses, which are what the fuck did you, okay, there's a table. You shouldn't hit that. Those yeah, just go
Are
ahead.
you
and-
okay?
I'm okay.
You sure?
So
Oh,
to teach
God.
dihybrid crosses,
Oh, I just hit my
for those of you
kneecap
that
on the table.
breed snakes and do Punnett squares, it's when you have two traits that you're looking for. So if you wanted to know what's the odds of this, we'll go to ball pythons. What are the odds of the snake having pied and albino in the same snake? That's two traits. It would be a dihybrid cross. Anyways, if you remember algebra when you had to use the old FOIL method, do you remember that? For you don't remember
I
FOIL?
took
First, outer, inner, last.
I took business math last fall, and I couldn't tell you what I learned in that class.
Okay,
much less
stay over
college-
there.
much less
Anyways,
algebra.
I'm going to talk to the educated people out there.
Did you do like the please excuse my dear Aunt Sally? Do you remember that from math?
Oh, I do now
I'm
that you said it.
turning y'all down. There we go. Their microphones are off. I can have my conversation now. So the old FOIL method, so first, outer, inner, last, was how we always taught that. They don't teach it in algebra anymore. They've changed math. And
Is this going
already-
to be one of those old guy get off my lawn rants?
yes. I hate math. So anything that I have remembered on how to do in math, don't fucking change on me. I didn't want to learn it the first time.
I
And
mean,
now
I agree with you there.
Turn our mics
100%.
back up.
you're back up.
Okay.
You just have to talk into it.
I did.
There you go.
Yeah, I didn't know if you had turned them back up.
So yeah, so Ryan's like, so is that how I get my snow corn? That's what I'm teaching tomorrow. I'm taking a snow, I'm taking an albino and an anery, and I'm teaching dihybrid crosses to get a snow corn snake.
Yep. It's a cool lesson. I'll give him that.
Although my anery,
It sounds cool.
may be deep in shed and hate me tomorrow.
I will forget it.
Really deep in shed.
Yeah, I won't have a normal corn to take. So
Yeah.
I have a snow molly.
Cool.
She's pretty. She's dumb, but she's pretty.
she's pretty dumb.
She's not smart.
But anyway, so yeah, I'm taking it was snake related. I'm taking my snakes tomorrow, but they changed math and I'm pissed.
So we are an hour in and we have y'all right there?
Nope, done.
You want to pick your lung up off the floor?
You only need one.
Lord. We haven't even talked about our Facebook question yet.
Oh fuck.
I just realized. I'm like,
Katie dropping the ball over here.
Haven't because
You're the one with the list.
I know, right?
Well, my list didn't include this question.
Yeah.
This was actually joking with this question. I asked him for a question and it was a good one. We got a lot of replies pretty quick. So the question was, I said, we all know the big guys but who is your favorite up and coming person on YouTube, podcast, TikTok, any other social media platform?
And there's a lot of really awesome posts here.
There are. So I'll go through them and then we'll share who we all listen to or like to watch. Adam Wickens, Mitch, that's not who I'm saying. Fuck Adam. I'm just kidding. Not fuck Adam. I like Adam.
I was about to say, Adam is one of your favorite people. What you talking about?
Don't tell the rest of Canada that. They don't like Adam. But don't worry, Adam. Adam, moved to Texas. We like you.
So I've been told by Canadians.
Yeah, they'll fucking tell you. They don't like him.
And then I was like, I don't understand. I like Adam. I watch his channel.
What?
Look,
okay.
Granted, we don't live there. I don't know. But what I see enough, and I've talked to him personally, I like Adam. But I also like the folks that don't like Adam. So stuck in the middle with you.
That's how I feel.
Okay.
So all Canadian reptile girl. That's what he said. She's wildly underrated. I have not listened to all Canadian reptile
look
girl.
that up. Yeah.
Mostly because it says Canadian in the name, and I can only like so many Canadians at one time. And Adam, you're pretty much taking up the spot, man. Fucking.
That's how I feel, Danielle. I don't understand either.
The next podcast will be dedicated to why people don't like Adam.
Apparently.
It's funny. It's Canadians, and Canadians are supposed to be super nice, eh? So I don't know why they don't like each other.
It's a lie.
Eh? You know what? There's just a ton of moose. Darren Watson says, of course, the Reptile Gumbo podcast. Shut the fuck up, Darren. You just sucking up. I'm just kidding. I like that, Darren. Keep sucking up.
I was about to say, when have you ever not wanted someone to stroke your ego?
Whoa, no, Darren doesn't. She's ego.
James Lewis.
Anyways, he says, I also love listening to Modern Medusa podcast, which I know Joe hates that one.
Oh, whatever. He's on the phone. Stop.
He's on the phone. Who's he talking to?
I don't know. He had an important phone call.
An important.
I'm going to tell you what, though.
Important
Talking about
phone call.
Modern Medusa.
We love Dominique.
Let me tell you something. If Dominique ever decided to be one of those people, she's like the most calming voice.
Are you going to finish
really
this?
does.
Ever. No, because in my mind I said what I wanted to say and I was afraid it could be misconstrued and taken.
Probably.
the
Go
wrong
ahead, say
way.
it.
So that's why I was like, no.
Dominique's
She wants to be a
adorable.
dominatrix.
But
What?
So her voice, it's very calming and it has that effect. So like, I feel like if there's like an app or like if you're stressed out, you would like listen to people read to you or whatever. I feel like
Ooh,
she
yes.
would be on that app.
That calming app.
Yeah.
No calming.
I
it.
didn't
She
know,
should do
like,
that.
I didn't want people to be like, oh, so she puts you to sleep, but that's not where I'm going with this.
Oh, that's where you are.
In my brain, that's where I went, and that's not where I wanted to go. But she has a very soothing voice, and her
Yes.
episodes are always really interesting.
So
Oh,
Darren
yeah.
said she has some amazing people. And then he said the other one he truly likes is this one done by this really annoying chick. It's called Strictly Shorties. Some April chick does it. It's whatever. It's about some
I don't
short,
know if
fat.
she'd be quiet. She might not still be in the chat.
She may not, it's about short, fat, angry snakes. I don't know. But they're definitely two you should check out. Dominique over on Modern Medusa, and check out April on Strictly Shorties. I think she's up to 4 episodes, somewhere in there.
Uh-huh.
But definitely check them out.
Our buddy Ryan Cox said that Dom's voice almost made him nod off at his last job before because it was so calming. So it's one of those that you couldn't listen to while you were driving a FedEx truck.
Yeah.
Which I totally get. Like I don't know. There's not a lot of people that I want to listen to when I'm like,
You can stop right there. There's not a lot of people I
like
want to listen
that. They're not for you. But there are a handful of people that they have that gift.
Oh yeah.
She's
No,
got
she's
it.
got a great voice.
Todd Autry said Snakes on the Plains photography, which I actually added on Facebook, and there are some really awesome pictures on there. The one that recently got posted was of a milk snake in Oklahoma, super pretty milk snake in Oklahoma. So check out Snakes on the Plains photography.
Like PLAINS.
PLAINS. They're not. He's not tired of these fucking snakes on this fucking plane. He likes
That's
these.
where I was going with it.
He likes these snakes on these planes.
I've never seen that movie.
I
you
watched
gotta watch it
so
at least
that I
once.
could watch it.
I
and say
feel like I
watched it.
need to.
Just once.
but
It's
I've
stupid.
never seen it.
It's fucking
Well, that's why
horrible.
I like
that's why
Samuel
I
L.
never watched it,
Jackson,
'cause
so-
it looked stupid.
Oh,
it
it's
was.
horrible. It's
It was,
horrible.
but I like Samuel L. Jackson. And if you go into it knowing
Like I
this
like
is
Samuel
gonna
L.
be
Jackson
the
too, but it's still a
dumbest
horrible
thing
movie.
ever, and you can make fun of it while you're watching it, you have a much better time.
Excellent.
It's a bad movie. There's so many things like, well, that's not how that works. Also, I have heard that they actually lost many snakes on that plane.
Wonderful.
Yeah, because they
Excellent.
used some small like milk snakes and stuff, and they actually lost some of those snakes on the plane set of Snakes on a Plane.
That's lovely.
So there was that. The Megan slap some bitch said Dominique DeFalco of Modern Medusa.
She's slapping in a minute.
John Grant obviously listed his best and favorite one, which is the Reptile Gumbo podcast.
Oh my lord.
Okay, is he like trying to compete with me for the giveaway this month? Like,
Kelly Ward Brewer said Pyro Toad on YouTube. I have not seen that.
That's cool. I like frogs.
I'll have to check out Pyro Toad. Sean Gray posted the In Blue podcast. Way to suck up to them, Sean. Whatever.
They do have a really cool podcast.
they do.
They
a good
do.
Podcast.
They
Although
do.
I also hear that there's this pint sized reptile podcast that's pretty good too.
Definitely listen to the Pint Size Reptile podcast, who just recently had Mike Stefani from Mike's Monitors on, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
And we talked about Kimberly Rock
I
monitors.
was going to say you were very excited after you recorded that.
Now I need some Kimberly Rock monitors.
We'll get on that.
Dallas Ruba posted The Backyard Biologist, which I have not seen.
So
That sounds
that's
cool,
Chance
too.
Chick. That's Chance. He has the 2 pet stores down in what's that town where UF is? Tom
Gainesville?
Petty.
Jacksonville. Gainesville.
Yeah. Yeah. So he has 2 stores around there. Good guy.
So those were listed on there. Then we had some other ones
Is it
listed. What?
Backyard ecology or
Backyard Biologist.
backyard biologist?
Jason Miloradovich said the crew from Pine
I
Size
got-
Reptile podcast, but of course he's part of the crew. So
Okay, this one says the
Hey.
backyard.
Have
Have you heard of From the Ground Up podcast?
from,
Yeah.
from the ground.
From the ground up's pretty good too.
If you
I don't
search really hard, you can
you,
maybe
you can find it.
Maybe.
Travis Dill, I'm not gonna try that last name. Said, fuck, I can't even say this person's first name.
What? So you can't. make-
Jazaru Proctor does a great job with his YouTube channel, but this starts with a J. It's JZAREAU Proctor. Now I've got to check that out.
Just make something
Sounds
up.
familiar.
I mean, you do it with her name all the time.
Jazzy
Literally
shoes.
every time. I don't think you've ever said my last name correctly.
I
One
haven't-
time he said it once on the episode. where
I'm
you
not
were
sure
our
I've
guest.
actually taken the time to learn your last name.
But now you're not our guest anymore. So
Wow.
you get treated
You know
like
what?
everybody else.
I am never bringing you cookies again.
Those were good cookies, by the way.
Thank
Fucked
you.
up.
He complained about that.
He doesn't eat nuts.
because he was like,
Oh,
"Oh, there's pecans."
Tracy's saying that's why did I just forget his name? Pyro Toad is
Christian
that works for
We
Andy.
didn't talk about
She's
that.
on.
That's right.
Yeah.
Christian's the one we talked about it on the podcast with
Episode
Andy. Christian does all the planted takes for Andy for his and does an amazing job with those planted tanks. He's Pyro Toad. Oh yes, definitely go check out Pyro Toad on YouTube. He does some amazing planted tanks. Oh look, it's Dominique DeFalco.
Sup, girl?
Good thing she's typing.
She
If she was
must have
talking,
heard
y'all would
us.
fall asleep.
She must have heard us talking about her.
She must have.
She must have heard how y'all were all bored by her voice.
Shut
That's-
up. That is
Dominique,
not what I said.
Dominique, I'll have you know, I did not
Oh
say
my
that.
God.
I was the one person that did not say
That is
you put me to
not what I
sleep.
said.
That's a glowing recommendation right there.
So in other news, future of the podcast will be me, Katie, and Robert.
And Robert. One of us is going to learn how to use that
Because Robert isn't rude to me. Robert gives me presents.
Robert gave you one snake.
And you know what? He is now my best friend.
I'll have you know, if I'm not rude to you, then I'm probably not your friend.
That snake is very rude to me.
If
by
I'm
the
not
way.
rude to you, I'm probably not talking to you because we're not friends.
You know what? That's okay. I'm the same way. If I am super, super nice to you, it just means that I'm not that comfortable with you yet. So
People just think I'm fake, so it's okay.
I don't
One
think
Have you gotten that
Okay.
before?
Have
Okay.
I gotten that I'm fake?
Yeah.
We got a
Oh,
review
yeah.
once that she was fake.
Wait,
Oh,
for
well,
real?
it's a review. Probably
Yeah.
true.
Well, no.
What are you gonna do? Jury's out.
Hey, you are still one of my favorite
What are you
people.
gonna
Don't get
do?
knocked out on that list.
I didn't say it.
Who's gonna feed you if I go on vacation with you?
Am I live and you guys frozen? That would be really bad.
Fine, we're still
But
recording.
yeah,
though.
no, I
Oh.
have people who are like, you're just so nice all the time. Why are you like this? I'm like, because you don't want to be the alternative.
Am I supposed to be mean?
Like, I take medication to be this happy. It's a glorious thing, people.
Me too.
You don't want to be around me if I'm not like this.
I'm this fucking cheerful without medicine. I don't know what's wrong with y'all.
No, I need the drugs. My husband can attest to that.
This one can.
Fun fact,
It's
you're
true.
supposed to take them consistently.
Yes.
Yes, you are.
So I got
Anybody
excited.
else on our Facebook?
Well, no, but I got excited earlier in the chat because it was April was in here and Ryan was in here and we had Joe on here and it was
Nostalgia,
the old
yeah.
times. It was so much
And
fun.
Darren Watson too. He was in here.
Yeah.
Stephen
Uh,
Poole.
We're missing is Travis.
I'm not missing Travis.
Shut up.
Speaking of Travis was on recently on the Herpculture podcast.
Oh, cool.
So go check that out. He was there live in person. He's never come to fucking visit us live in person.
Oh, I've seen him live in person.
Go ahead, fuck Travis. So
I've been to his house.
I
mean,
come
it was-
and visit you live
It
in
was
person,
outside.
that's true.
and I get made fun of.
Yeah, you're not a PhD.
Wait,
Although
which
make fun of the
Travis are we
PhD
doing?
too.
Oh, we're talking about
you at
Wyman.
the last expo.
Got it.
Travis Wyman.
Wow. I enjoy making fun of Travis.
So I will be honest.
For the first time, here we go.
Shut up. I don't listen to podcasts really. Like I feel bad because I'm on this one. But
I have
don't.
a few. I don't listen to them super regularly just because it's hard for me to concentrate on them while I'm working. So I don't have like a ton of free time outside of that for me to just sit and listen. But like I like Snake Talk with Dr. Jenkins.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I like that one. That one's one of my favorite, more like science.
That's very sciencey. Yeah.
Yeah, sciencey, less hobby. Because I mean that's my thing anyway. Is more like native stuff. So I like learning about breeders and things like that, but breeding it's not my thing. And a lot of the breeders that they have on are ball pythons.
And if I do listen to podcasts, they're not reptile related.
You can tell that I haven't been like thinking about reptiles enough because when you said native podcasts, I thought you listened to like Native American podcasts. I was like, that's really interesting. You're like, I really love
that
native.
Would be super cool.
I mean, I would listen to one of those too if
Talk
I
about the
knew
native
of
people.
one.
You could talk about the native people from different islands and like how they function in their everyday life.
This sounds
That
like
would be
super
cool.
interesting.
I'll tune
Y'all
in
just
for the
planned-
Pygmies podcast or something.
Yes.
y'all just playing the most boring podcast. There you go. We'll get Dominique to do it so people can take a nap. Apparently,
I'm a history buff. I love listening to that podcast about like things they didn't teach you in history class. It's awesome.
I slept through history class in high school.
I didn't. I was a good student.
See, now I'm the person that is like looking at Facebook comments and I'm like, I bet all these people slept through history class in high school.
Yeah, I did. My sister has her master's degree in history.
Oh, she and I would get along
And I'm
very
just
well.
Like,
Have you ever wondered
Yeah.
what is the most useless degree? There's two of them. Degree in history
I-
or English.
I
You have an English history degree? Because
I think the most useless degree is probably anthropology.
great.
at least anthropology, you can take that and study. I can see where you go with that.
you could work in
I
a
don't know.
museum.
Well, not in a museum, but like you could.
My ex
Travel
is
and
working in
help.
Kroger.
Okay, maybe they didn't use it properly. It may not be the degree. It may be the use of the degree.
It's both.
It's an
It's-
operator.
No, I mean, no one
error.
works
an
within. I
operator
mean,
error.
You know what,
teachers may
we're
be
not
kind
wrong.
of an exception a lot of times, but I mean, no one works within their actual degree, right? I mean, I think it's something like 80% of people work.
I don't.
jobs
I mean,
Well,
I know a
Katie-
lot of people that
I
do.
don't.
Katie has a degree. So
My
Katie has a
degree's
degree
in
in,
criminal justice and
and-
photography.
and a minor in photography. Yeah, and she doesn't either.
I went back to.
You don't even
school
have
to
a-
get
You don't even have a
education.
big Instagram following.
I don't
What'd you
have
go
an
to school
Instagram.
for?
I don't have one because
I don't either.
I went to college and I said, "Fuck this shit."
Yeah,
Didn't enjoy it the first time around. Didn't enjoy it the second time around either.
I loved every
Thinking
minute
about
of
going.
college.
I'm thinking about going back a third time.
Oh, I
for a
was I was
master's.
thinking about it. I did it, and I was like, "No, this was a terrible idea."
I've never paid for college, so I don't want to have to go back if I have to pay for it.
yeah,
Show
No.
off.
yeah, no,
He didn't.
I'd have to pay. For
Not
it.
even for his master's degree from LSU. He didn't even pay for that
How?
because he's brilliant and it fucking sucks.
Ugh.
Yeah.
All right.
Suck it, world.
Go ahead and record that because I don't say that
Ooh,
often.
Dark history. Yes, that's a good one.
It's very rare for me to admit that he's as smart as he is.
Me and Tracy will just start our own side chat talking about history podcasts.
Yeah, but no, yeah. If I listen to podcasts, they're either education related, something for me to use in my classroom. They have to do with Girl Scouts, or they have to do with if it's YouTube, it's all quilting related.
Have you ever listened to David Tennant as a podcast?
No, but
You
that sounds
should
pretty cool.
because and it's great.
That doesn't sound cool at all.
Not just because I'm in love with
I
David,
like David
Tennant
Tennant.
and very jealous of his wife. Sorry, babe.
Wait, who is this person?
But David
Tennant?
Tennant. Oh, he's a Scottish actor. Absolutely amazing. Like most people know him from Doctor Who, but he's been in a lot more than just Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I think
But
all
he's
I
an
know is Craig
He's a brilliant
Ferguson.
actor.
The only Scottish person I know.
Oh no, David Tennant
I love
does a
Craig Ferguson.
podcast. It's fantastic.
Dominique says, Katie, listen to Just the Zoo of Us. It's a kid appropriate, animal focused podcast.
We will look
Ooh,
into
that's a
that.
good
Absolutely.
name.
Just the zoo of us. I
Just
love that.
the okay, yes. All right. It's almost an hour and a half.
Will Smith.
I mean,
right?
we took a nap earlier,
Wow.
but I
Yes,
do
just
need
two of us.
food.
I do need food, and I'm sure Joe needs to go hang out with his.
No, I
iguana
need
that lives
to.
in-
I need to go
filth.
rescue a guy who's at my job site. Straight. I picked him up today, and I'm like, "Oh, I gotta fucking go do a podcast. You just stay here for just a bit. I'll be right back."
Joe said,
and-
fuck that guy.
And I forgot that fucking. I thought it was at 6, and it's at 7. So they just finished the
Yeah.
job like 10 minutes ago, and my man's still there. And we were working until like 12 last night, so I feel bad. So
That's
yeah.
what you get for having feelings.
So that's why, like, whoever's on YouTube, you saw me take a call and then like go off to the side muted. So yeah, that's
Well-
what's going on in my life. That's the update. That's the update you asked for
there
in the
you go.
beginning. That's
There
that's
you
it. We got it.
Before we go, Darren said he liked the old days when you had the podcast. So I'm going to go ahead. Joe, what's your favorite pizza topping?
Oh, I thought you were gonna ask me what
Did he
when I'm gonna
freeze?
start the
He did freeze.
podcast
Oh,
again.
Dan's
I was
not
like,
going.
fuck. Yeah,
I used to try to
pepperoni
get
or
Joe to
nothing.
ask every guest this.
Yeah.
He always ask questions at the end, and I always like favorite pizza topping. Ask him the favorite pizza, like every time.
Oh yeah.
I do miss those days. Those were fun days.
Mushrooms.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I'm kidding.
Oh, okay.
Mushrooms.
awful.
God.
Yeah, and then
I was doing
every-
that for reaction.
damn joke, and you say it's pineapple and all stupid shit. You know,
Pineapple on
right.
pizza is disgusting.
I like
So-
pepperoni bacon on my pizza.
I do like pepperoni bacon. I would normally say Joe if people want to get a hold of you, but fuck it, I don't think Joe wants to talk to anybody.
yeah. Didn't we go over this? Maybe I thought it was on your podcast last time. I said,
Yeah.
yeah, please don't.
Don't
If you
talk to
if
Joe.
you know how to get a hold of him, then you are one of the lucky few.
Yeah.
I relate to that. People
And,
ask
Just
me,
if
drive
you
around Austin
don't,
yelling Joe, and he'll
then,
find you.
No, you got to go to the
What is-
local
people ask
coffee
me if I'll
shop
hit-
who
give out
also
my number
serves
for-
IPAs. So it-
He'll have his bacon flavored beer coffee.
That sounds disgusting.
I'm pretty sure there's a bacon flavored beer out there.
Oh, there it
I'm
is.
sure.
100% is. It's a bacon flavored everything. Anyways, Joe, thanks for coming on. Maybe next time it won't be like a year before we talk again. I'm
Yeah,
hopefully going to
see
see
you
you
in
in a few
Austin.
weekends.
super bummed out about that.
I'll see you in Austin. But you won't be there. Sucks for you.
No, I have
I'll
to-
get to see Joe.
I will not because
Sucks for
I
you.
avoid going to Austin
I have
at
to
all possible.
Parent our
Yeah,
child.
it's
and
fake
be
Austin. It's not in
responsible.
real Austin. It's in like Round Rock
I
or some
just
horse shit.
it's
Yeah.
Pflugerville,
it's
maybe.
the traffic, which is I mean I don't go into
Is it
Houston
not worse
for
than
the-
Houston?
I don't go into Houston for the very same reason. but
Traffic doesn't bother me.
That does suck.
Texas traffic people. I mean,
it
come
sucks.
on, get over yourselves here.
Stop moving here.
We're trying to build fucking cities. What are you gonna do?
I need people stop moving
Dom
here.
just threw you under the bus.
Still
Yeah.
Like, if you know how to get a hold of
That
him,
is
he
true.
still doesn't reply
That is-
87% of the time.
That's not bullshit. Dom, that is 100% true.
I just replied to her
he will
today.
get back
after-
to you in time.
No, it took 24 hours, but I texted her back.
It's a very specific statistic.
Oh,
She's been keeping up with the stats
87.
here. It's 87% of the time.
Every time.
It's 87%. But
All right, if they want to get a hold of us, James, how can they do it?
it's the Reptile Gumbo podcast on Instagram, Facebook, at gmail.com. If you want to get a hold of Robert and get a reptile rack, you can go to lsreptileracks.com. He's not here to get fuss at me when I say it. reach out to him on there or on Instagram. He has a TikTok. Go check out his TikTok.
I don't have a TikTok.
Is it LS Reptile Racks on TikTok? Maybe, I don't know. It's something like that. I've watched it.
If you've got questions about snake removal in our area of Texas, you can reach out to Megan.
Yeah. Reach out to Megan. She'll come save your life. That decay snake that's crawling across your porch.
That's right.
She will save you from that.
Or those little
as it tries to eat earthworm.
snakes.
All right, we need to let Joe go. He's got to go save a man's life.
That's right.
So
Good luck, Joe.
thanks everybody for joining us. Thanks, Joe, for joining us. We'll be back next week with some guests. I don't know. Maybe we'll get Dom on. It's been a while. All right. Good night.
Later.
Bye.